Have you ever wondered what it would be like to move through the world without making a sound? To be a ghost in the night, a silent shadow drifting through the trees. For one creature, this isn't a fantasy, it's a deadly reality. This is the story of the owl, nature's most perfect stealth predator, and the incredible science behind its silent wings. How can a bird of its size fly with such profound silence that its prey doesn't hear it until it's too late? The answer lies not in magic, but in a marvel of evolutionary engineering. A design so brilliant that it leaves modern technology in awe. What if I told you that the secret to the future of quiet flight for everything from drones to passenger jets is hidden within the feathers of this nocturnal hunter? Stay with me as we unravel the mystery of the owl's silent flight, a story that will change the way you see the night sky forever. The story of the owl's silent flight begins deep in the evolutionary past, in a world cloaked in darkness. Long before humans lit up the night, the world after sunset was a domain of profound blackness, a place where the rules of survival were fundamentally different. In this realm, sight, the dominant sense for so many creatures during the day, became almost useless. Instead, the night came alive with a symphony of subtle sounds: the rustle of a leaf, the snap of a twig, the faint high-pitched squeak of a mouse moving through the undergrowth. For a predator to succeed here, it couldn't rely on what it saw. It had to master the art of listening. Owls evolved to become the undisputed champions of this acoustic battlefield. They developed a hearing so acute, it's almost a superpower, capable of pinpointing the exact location of prey from the faintest of sounds alone. But this incredible hearing created a new, critical problem. How could an owl use its own powerful wings to fly and hunt without deafening itself? The sound of its own flapping would be like a thunderclap, completely overwhelming the delicate sounds it needed to locate its next meal. The evolutionary pressure was immense: fly silently or starve. This challenge pushed the owl down a unique evolutionary path, forcing it to develop a set of extraordinary adaptations that would transform its wings from noisy instruments of flight into silent blades of death. The silence isn't just a neat trick, it's the very foundation of the owl's existence, the key that unlocked the kingdom of the night. The first and most crucial secret to the owl's silent flight is hidden in the leading edge of its primary flight feathers. If you were to look at the feather of a hawk or an eagle under a microscope, the front edge would be relatively smooth and firm, like the blade of a knife. When this edge cuts through the air at high speed, it creates a sudden rush of air, generating a significant amount of noise, the characteristic whooshing sound we associate with large birds in flight. An owl's feather, however, is completely different. The leading edge is not a smooth blade, but a soft, comb-like structure, a series of tiny, stiff, yet flexible serrations. These little hooks act like the teeth of a comb, but for air. As the wing moves forward, this comb-like edge doesn't just slice through the air, it meticulously breaks up the flow. Instead of a single, large rush of turbulent air, it creates thousands of smaller, more manageable microturbulences. This process effectively diffuses the sound energy. The large, loud whoosh is broken down into a multitude of tiny, imperceptible whispers. This ingenious adaptation addresses the primary source of flight noise right where it begins, preemptively silencing the wing before the sound has a chance to form and propagate. It's a masterful piece of natural engineering, turning a potentially noisy pressure wave into a gentle, silent passage through the atmosphere, making the owl a ghost to both ear and eye. But the leading edge comb is only part of the solution. Even with the initial turbulence broken up, sound can still be generated as the air flows over the rest of the wing's surface. This is where the owl's second secret comes into play: a unique, velvety texture that covers the top surface of its feathers. While the feathers of most birds are smooth and sleek to reduce drag, an owl's feathers are covered in a dense pile of fine hair-like filaments. This gives them a soft, almost plush feel, similar to velvet. This structure is not for comfort. It's a highly effective acoustic dampener. When the microturbulences created by the leading edge comb flow over this velvety surface, they become trapped within the forest of tiny fibers. Instead of reflecting off a smooth surface and creating noise, the sound energy is absorbed. The velvety pile acts like the acoustic foam panels you see in a recording studio, deadening sound waves and preventing them from escaping into the surrounding environment. This secondary mechanism mops up any residual noise that the leading edge comb didn't eliminate. ensuring that the airflow over the entire wing remains almost completely silent. This combination of breaking up turbulence at the front and absorbing the remaining sound across the surface is a 1-2 punch that makes the AOL's flight acoustically invisible. The third piece of this intricate puzzle is not just about the feathers, but the very architecture of the owl itself. If you compare an owl to another bird of similar body weight, like a hawk, you'll immediately notice that the owl's wings are disproportionately large. It has a much lower wing loading, which is the ratio of body weight to wing area. This might seem like a disadvantage, making it less agile or fast than a hawk. But for the owl, this is a critical advantage for silent flight. These large wings act like giant sails, generating a tremendous amount of lift with very little effort. Because each flap of its wings produces so much upward force, the owl doesn't need to flap them quickly or aggressively. It can afford to fly with slow, deliberate, and incredibly gentle wing beats. Imagine the difference between waving your hand quickly through the air versus moving it slowly. The faster movement creates far more noise and disturbance. The owl's large wings allow it to adopt this slower, more methodical flight pattern. This slower wing movement drastically reduces the amount of disturbance in the air, generating far less turbulence and, consequently, almost no sound. It's a strategy of grace over power, of efficiency over speed. The owl essentially floats on the air, using minimal energy and creating minimal noise. A silent specter drifting on the night currents. These three incredible adaptations, the serrated leading edge, the velvety feather surface, and the large, loading wings work in perfect harmony to achieve near-perfect silence. But why is this silence so profoundly important? It's a matter of life and death. The owl's silent flight is not a defensive mechanism to hide from its own predators. It is a purely offensive weapon. Firstly, it allows the owl to weaponize its own hearing. Without the sound of its own wings drowning everything out, the owl can listen with unparalleled clarity as it flies. It can track the faintest rustle of a mouse in the leaves or the scuttling of a vole beneath the snow. Adjusting its flight path in real time based on these subtle acoustic cues, it is, in effect, using a form of biological sonar while in motion. Secondly, and perhaps more crucially, it gives the prey absolutely no warning. A mouse's hearing is tuned to the very frequencies that a bird's flapping wings would produce. For a hawk, the sound of its approach announces its attack, giving the prey a precious split second to bolt for cover. But the owl gives no such warning. It appears out of the darkness like an apparition, a silent form that is neither seen nor heard until the moment its talons strike. This element of complete surprise dramatically increases the owl's hunting success rate, ensuring its survival in a competitive nocturnal world. The genius of the owl's wing design has not gone unnoticed by the human world. Today, in laboratories and research centers around the globe, scientists and engineers are meticulously studying the structure of owl feathers, hoping to unlock their secrets for our own technology. The field of biomimicry innovation, inspired by Nature Sees the Owl, as a masterclass in silent design. Aerospace engineers are experimenting with adding serrated edges to the blades of wind turbines, aiming to reduce the noisy swoosh that can be a major source of noise pollution for nearby communities. Similarly, they are exploring ways to apply owl-inspired coatings and structures to airplane wings and landing gear, the primary sources of noise during takeoff and landing. The goal is to create a new generation of quieter aircraft that could reduce the noise footprint around airports, and even allow for more flights during nighttime hours, from quieter computer fans to stealthier military drones. The principles learned from the owl's silent flight have the potential to revolutionize acoustics in countless fields. It's a powerful reminder that nature, through millions of years of evolution, has already solved some of the most complex engineering challenges we face today. The silent ghost of the night sky, it turns out, may hold the key to a quieter future for all of us.